Lover with you, love with you. Feel so true, feel so new. Love with you.
Hello friends, today we'll be looking into how to cut and stitch a line dress. Okay, meanwhile, let me take our time to welcome you all to Infinity's Gallery. My name is Tekla. I really appreciate you all for all your support and love and care. God bless you all. So if today is your first time of coming across this channel, Infinity's Gallery, please don't hesitate to hit on that subscribe button and also click on that post notification so that whenever I upload, you'll be the first to catch the gist. So guys, please let's comment. Place a comment, ask questions, okay, where necessary. I will reply immediately. I love you all. Like and share also. Thank you. Let's hop in if this is what you're interested in. So guys, right now I've gone ahead and folded the fabric into 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. This simply means that we have the front panel, the front, and we have the back panel, okay, the back. Okay, right now the full length of this dress is 43 inches, but I've gone ahead and measured out from the starting line, okay, which is here at this edge, to the end is 45 inches. I made use of the full length, okay, of this adire. So now, why the full length of my client is 43, out of the 2 inches remaining, I will use 1 inch, okay, half inch rather, to join the shoulder, and 1.5 inches to fold at the lower hem, okay, at the lower hem. So that's why everything out in total is 45 inches. So right now, what I will do next is to create my starting line, which will serve as the shoulder line. So here is our starting line, okay. So right now, from the starting line, I'll take my vertical measurements. My vertical measurements are downwards. So from the starting line, I'll take the half length. Half length is 16 inches, okay. While the hip length is 25 inches. Here we have 25 inches. This is the closed edge, okay, the center front and the center back. So right now, on my shoulder line, I'll take the shoulder measurement of my client is 16 inches. Divided by 2, we have 8, okay. So I'll mark in 8 inches here. At that 8 inches, I'll come in for my shoulder slope. It could be 1 inch, 1.5, depending on your choice, but I will be making use of 1 inch. While the neckline line, I'll be taking my neck width to be, I'll take neck width to be 4 inches, okay. Rather, let me make it 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches, okay. That's the neck width. The neck width for the front panel and that of the back is always the same, but the neck depth differs, okay. While the neck depth for the back, it will be, I'll be making use of 1 inch, okay. No, let me make use of 1.5 inches. That's for the back, okay. I want it free because it's not going to have zipper, okay. It's a free gown, so that's why I came down 1.5 inches for the neck depth. That's for the back. While the neck depth for the front, I'll be making use of 4 inches. That is okay. So I'll connect it all the way to the neck width. Meanwhile, before cutting the neck depth for the front panel, first of all, I will cut the neck depth for the back, okay. Once I remove the front panel, the back panel, I will now work on the neck depth for the front panel. So now let me curve that of the back. So like so. So what next I will do now is to connect my shoulder slope to the neck width, okay, like so. So I connected from the shoulder slope to the neck width. So what else I will do is to mark in my armhole depth. From that shoulder slope 1 inch, I came down. For the armhole depth, you divide by 16 divided by 2, or rather you can as well do bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. That is another method for you to calculate or to take in your armhole depth. So what I have here is 8 inches. Okay, I'll connect this like so. You can make use of your ruler if you are not sure of your free curving. So right now I connected it like so. Okay, now for the bust measurement, I'll take my bust measurement, bust circumference measurement, okay, before curving. So now the bust circumference of my client is 40 inches. 40 divided by 4, I will take in 10 inches like so. I mark in 10 inches. So I'm going to add, because it's a free gown, I'm going to add 1.5 inches, okay, for ease, freeness. Then I'll add 1 inch for seam allowance. Seam allowance is the stitching allowance. So remember, I added 1.5 inches for ease. Okay, you could make yours 2 inches depending on how free you want it to be. Okay, so now coming down to my waist, I'm not going to take any measurement at the waist because it's an A-line gown or dress. Okay, what I will do now is to connect this all the way to the tip or to the end part of the lower hem. Okay, remember, while folding, what I did was I used my highest body circumference, which is the hip. The hip of my client is 46 inches divided by 4. I got 11.5. I marked 11.5. okay, then I went ahead and added. You can make yours 5. You can add extra 3 inches, 4 inches, even 5 inches extra. Okay, this is to allow you to create your A-line shape. Okay, so here I added 4 inches at the lower hem. So now what I'm going to do now is to connect it from this my bust measurement all the way to the tip of the lower hem. Let me show. So here is my tip. Okay, this is the tip of my, I added 8 inches to allow the A shape, okay, to create that A shape. So what I will do now is to connect it from this my bust measurement all the way in an A shape, okay, to this tip. See what I mean? So I will take my long ruler, I will take it all the way from that bust circumference. I will create it in a slanty, my ruler is in a slanty form, okay, in an A form. So I will keep on taking it up. I'll keep taking it, down like so to the tip of the gown. So here we have. So I'm going to cut this like so. It's in a slanty form, okay? I hope we are seeing this. So it's in a slanty form. I'm going to cut it all the way to this bust measurement, okay? So it's in a slanty and a curving form. It depends on how you want to create your A shape. You could start at your bust, at your hip measurement, hip circumference to create your A shape. You could as well start at your waist measurement to create your A shape. You could as well start at your bust measurement. It depends on how you want, how free you want the clothes to be or the dress to be, okay? So now I'm going to cut this. I'll cut the back neckline, neck depth, okay, my slope. Then now for the armhole curve, okay, from this angle I'll come up 1 inch, okay. Then starting from this my measurement, I'll curve it like so, okay. That's my armhole curve. So here we have our A shape, okay. So what I'll do now is to take out one. I'll remove one. One will serve as the back panel, okay? So one will serve as the back panel. While I'll work on the front panel. Okay, remember I said earlier that we're going to, for the front depth, we're going to make use of 4 inches. 4 inches, okay, for the front depth. So I'll take it all the way down to meet the neckline, the width of the neckline, okay? So I'm going to connect it like so. I'm going to take it like so. So that's that for our front necklines. So here is our the round neck. This is the front panel, okay. Then for the facing, okay, I'm not going to make use of facing for this. You could make use of bias, okay, to close up the neckline area. You can make use of bias. You could as well cut a bias using the same fabric. But for the course of this tutorial, I'll be making use of bias, okay. I'm not going to make use of the same fabric as bias because I have bias already. So here with me is my bias with the same color. While using bias, you make use of the same color, matching color on the fabric. So for this, I'll be making use of this matching color. I'll place, this is the right side of the fabric. I'll use the bias this way. I'll open it up. If you open up bias, you will see 2 tiny lines, okay. You place it leaving 1/4 inch, okay, 0.25 inch gap, okay, in between the main fabric, the fabric you are using the bias on. Just leave 1/4 inch, okay. Then you start stitching on the right side of the fabric. So I'm going to stitch round like so. As I'm stitching, I'm pulling my bias, okay. I'm pulling it up like so. Then after stitching, I will cut it off. Then I will now flip it to the other side and close it. You as well stitch on it, okay. So I will also do the same on my back panel, back bodies. I'll do the same on it, okay. Stitching on the right side, then flip it to the wrong side and close it up with stitches. So I'll do this and show us, but before then I'm going to cut out a pocket. There's going to be a pocket on it, okay. So now for the pocket length, okay. So starting from the shoulder, which is here, I'll come down 20 inches, okay, in length. You can make yours 19 inches. I came down 20 inches from the shoulder for my pocket, okay. So here I'm going to notch it. This is both the front and the back panel, okay. It's always good for you to notch. So I'm going to notch it like so. So while stitching the pocket, I can easily identify where it is. Then also in between from the pocket space, okay, in between from the first line, I'll come down 7 inches. This will serve as my pocket space, okay. Spacing for the pocket, I will also notch. So from here to here, at this point, I'm going to insert my pocket. But right now, I'm going to cut the pocket. So for the pocket, I've folded the fabric into 2. So I'll create a starting line, okay, like so. So in a slanty form, I'll take my tape. From that tip of the starting line, I'll place 8 inches, okay, in a slanty form using my tape. It is slanty, it is not straight, okay. So in a slanty form, I will place my tape like so, and I'll mark 8 inches, okay. So this is the line, 8 inches for the pocket. Remember, we marked 7 inches on the fabric. The 8 inches is, I'm going to use ½ inch to close the pocket, and the other to also attach it to the fabric. So right now, I've marked 8 inches like so, and I'll create that slanty shape, okay. So this is our line pocket opening. So from here, I'll connect it all the way down, okay. I also mark the length of the pocket. So starting from that line, our starting line, I'll come down. You could make yours 12-13 inches, okay? Here I'll be making use of, it could even be 11 inches 10, depending on the availability of the fabric that you have at hand. So for this, I'll be making use of 12 inches. So I'll mark 12 inches like so. So at this tip, at this other edge, it could be straight pocket like so, square in form of square. It could also be slanty pocket, depends on how you want it. For this, I'll be making use of slanty. So I came here 1 inch. I'm going to connect it like so. Okay, so I'll take it. So I'm going to cut it this slanty part, then I'll take it all the way out. So that's how I'm going to. So what I will do now is to use this to cut the second pocket. Okay, so I also cut the second pocket like so. So here we so this we have, this is our pocket. I'm going to notch it at the tip, okay? This will be in this form. In this form, take it down. So right now, what I'm going to do on my sewing machine, I'm going to close it, okay? Using half inch, 0.5 inches, 0.5 inch, or as well use 0.25, okay? That is 1/4 inch, okay? To close it up at this point and turn it to the right side. You are closing it up on the wrong side. This is the wrong side, okay? Let me mark it. This is the wrong side. So I'm going to do this and as well fix the bias and show us. So right now I'm done with the facing, okay? I've closed it up, okay? The front and the back. Look at the back, neatly stitched. So what, and also I've closed the pocket. I use half inch to do that. So right now I'll close the shoulder. I've placed right side facing right side, okay? The front and the back panel. I'll close the shoulder using half inch, okay? Then right now also I'm going to close the sides. Remember we marked 1 inch, okay, for closing the both sides. So I'll close the side using 1 inch, using 1 inch. Remember as well that we marked for the pocket, as you are closing the sides using 1 inch, in case if you are stitching yours, the place that you marked, you notch for the pocket, you are going to top stitch, okay, double stitch on it and give a space. That's 7 inches space. Starting from the other side, okay, you double stitch, then you close it using 1 inch to the hem of the dress. So I will do this and show us, okay? So I'm done with the bias, closing of the neckline. I've closed the sides, okay, and I've also fixed the pocket, okay, and also the other side. So here is the A shape. Here is the A shape gown, okay. Yes, a trumpet or bell sleeve, okay. Here with me is this Adire fabric. It's been folded into two. I'll cut the first sleeve, after which I will use it to cut the second sleeve, okay? So let's dive into the tutorial proper. Before you fold in for a trumpet sleeve, the beauty part of it is just that at the end part, the wideness, okay? That's what makes it trumpet or in a bell shape, the wideness. So to determine the folding, you fold in like 13 to 15 or 16 inches on fold, okay? For this, I'll be folding, I folded 13. I want to make use of 13 inches. What I have here is 13 inches on fold, okay? So what I will do now is to create my starting line. At this tip, I created a starting line like so. The full length of the sleeve is it's a long sleeve. It's always long to the wrist area, okay? And it's 21 inches, 22 inches. Okay, so for my client is 21 inches. So I'm going to mark 21 inches. So I'm going to add extra 2 inches, okay? This extra inch, we have inch we serve as joining to the sleeve, while 1.5 I will use it for folding, okay? Making all together is 23 inches. So I went ahead and marked 23 inches like so. For my campsite, I'll come down 4 inches. It's always normal. 4 inches is always good for every sleeve, okay? So at this campsite, I'm going to take or measure in my armhole circumference, okay? My armhole circumference at this point, which is 16 inches for my client. So at the campsite, the rounds, I'll take in the armhole circumference, which is 18 inches. 18 divided by 2, we have 9 inches, okay? So I'll mark 9 inches like so. I'll mark 9 inches. I'll add extra one. You can make it 1.5 inches, okay? Or 1 inch. So for this, I'll be making use of 1 inch, okay? So I'll mark 1 inch for seam allowance. So what next I will do is from this actual 9 inches, I'll connect it. I'll create a slanted line in order for me to create my inverted S, okay? That's the armhole shape. So I have created a slant line like so in this shape, okay? So from the 9 inches, I created a slanted line. So I'll look for the midpoint of this, what we have here. The midpoint of it, which is 10.5, is what I have. So the midpoint is at this point. I'll mark it, okay? So what next I will do now is at the tip, I'll come in between this. From that midpoint, I'll find the midpoint, which is 2.5 inches, okay? So at this point, I'll come up 1/2 inch. Also, the midpoint in between the 2 points is 5 inches, 2.5. From this, at that 2.5, I'll come down 1/2 inch as well. So from the starting line, I'm going to curve it, okay? The way I'm curving it to the 1/2 inch I came up, okay, to that midpoint, okay, to the midpoint, initial midpoint, and also inverted at the lower end. The 1/2 inch I came up to, I came down, okay, all the way at that point. Let me repeat what I just said. From the starting line, I came up 1/2 inch and I came down 1/2 inch, okay? That's the inverted S. This is the initial midpoint. I look for the midpoint of the two, and that is the point I came down 1/2 inch, okay? And also I look for the midpoint in between the two. I came up 1/2 inch. So I'll connect it from that 1/2 inch upwards, and I'll come down to meet the 1/2 inch downwards. That is the inverted S, okay? So this is the point we are going to cut. This is our allowance. So now for our bell sleeve, I'm going to connect it all the way to the end part, okay? So what I'm going to do next is from the allowance, I will take it in a slanted form, okay? To our hemline. That is the hemline in an inverted form. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. So that's that. So what I'm going to do next is to cut it, okay? Cut it all the way to the hemline. So I'm going to use this sample to cut the second sleeve, okay? This is our trumpet. I'm going to use this. If you don't want the sharpness, okay, if you don't want it to be too sharp, you can come up just 1/2 inch or 1 inch. I'm going to make it 1/2 inch, okay? You know, that sharpness is also the beauty. I'm going to trim it off. Just 1/2 inch. So I'm going to use this to cut the second sleeve. So here we have our two trumpet sleeve, okay, cut out already. So what I'm going to do next is to notch it, okay, for the shoulder tip, and also at the lower hem. I remember I just removed just ½ inch, okay, to avoid sharpness, just a slight sharpness I removed. So now I'm going to close this. I'll close it up. The round sleeve measurement is 9.5, okay. I measured 9.5 like so. So right now I've gone ahead and notched at this point. So what I'm going to do next is to measure the armhole measurement. So I marked it like so. So at this point I'm going to close it, okay. I marked in 1 inch for seam allowance, so I'm going to connect it all the way to the armhole. 1 inch, I'll connect it all the way to the armhole, so like so. So I'm going to close it up and join it to the arm. So this is the armhole I'm going to fix the trumpet sleeve on. So as we have marked the seam allowance, I'm going to close it up, okay, and attach it to the armhole. So after attaching it, I'll show us the final look of this our trumpet sleeve, okay, how it looks. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you being there till now. Just hit on that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, okay. Thank you so much, guys. Love you all. Bye.